top 2 scorers in the conference as well. That one was a wide margin at one point. Oregon has come back. USC at 1-4, trying to get their second conference win, and Oregon at 2-3 in conference play. I'll tell you, USC is a whole lot better than a 1-4 in conference team. They're an exciting, fast team.
And they've got some experience. You know, Ronnie Coleman's a senior. He's a load inside 6'6", but he's about 2. I don't know how many.
Well, they've had a tough schedule. They've been at Arizona, at UCLA. As you see the shot, McLean goes down.
I think Alabegovic gave him a little left-handed nudge with the elbow that time.
Now he's used to that international ball.
I'll tell you something about Don McLean. He is a tough nut. He is, and you got to see him play in person to realize how tough he is, because he takes a lot of pounding.
Going inside right now. Alabegovic doing everything he can to get in front of him, but Martin hits from the outside. Coming up on the 10-minute mark. 10:30 right now. McKinney inside, knocked out of bounds by guess who? Yep, Don McLean.
And Derek Martin just smacks Don McLean on the rear end and says, hey, way to go, big guy. But Derek Martin is the key right now, because if he continues to score from the outside, that's just another offensive weapon for the Bruins.
You look at what McLean has done as you see Derek Martin. McLean with 3 30-point games this year, 14 20-point games or more. And that's his scoring. He does everything else, too. Ball knocked loose by Mitchell Butler. Martin, left side, streaks the side of the key and scores. And he and Brantley both go down.
And Mitchell Butler has been a catalyst on both ends of the floor since he's been in the ball game. Good substitution by Jim Herrick.
And UCLA up by 5. Oregon State at one point was up by 7. A 10-1 run by UCLA, and they're pouring it on again. Off UCLA, off Butler. Mitchell Butler, who started most of the games this year, but Keith Owens getting the call tonight. In the second half, Oregon State, boy, the ice water's been dumped on the fire. Alabegovic, high percentage shot that time. And that's what he did the first half.
And that's the first time they got him the ball in the paint that deep this half.
Lead cut to 3. We're into the stretch.
You know, I know that I say this a lot in our telecast, but people have no idea how difficult it is to win on the road. I don't care what level of basketball, especially college basketball.
Great pass, obviously defensive interference, so that'll be 2 points for Butler, but a lovely pass by Murray. I'll tell you, when Murray gets the ball out there, you think he's going to shoot it, and all of a sudden he comes up with a bullseye assist.
Yeah, very good passer. Sees the floor very well. You know, Mitchell Butler was a high school center, so, you know, he can play anywhere if you want to post him up, but he's equally adept at playing away from the basket.
He's at 6'5". McKinney and Brantley now over to Jackson. McKinney, 3-pointer over Butler. I'll tell you, you live by the sword, you may die by the sword. They've relied on that 3-pointer quite a bit tonight.
I think the Bruins got a call right there, but see, Tracy Murray is seating off the weak side board, which he has to do in the zone, but he's rebounding with one hand. Get 2 hands up there. You maybe can't jump as high, but you can control the rebound.
Matkins. Murray posting up this time. Butler got a foul on Alabegovic, trying to muscle Don McLean.
Well, see, now UCLA has kind of turned the tables on the Beavers. What they've done, Beavers have gone to a man-to-man. Alabegovic is trying to take away McLean, and so UCLA is trying to go inside to McLean on the weak side low block.
2 fouls on Alabegovic for Jim Anderson's team, which has 4 team fouls. 5 on UCLA with 9 minutes remaining in the game. Murray for 3. Nothing but net.
Nothing like a 3-pointer to quiet a crowd on the road.
And look at that lead. It is now at 8 for UCLA. So much talent on this Bruin team. Back to McKinney. Oregon State needs to get to work here.
Uncharacteristically, the Beavers a little shaky in the ball handling right now.
And again, UCLA been, other than in the early few minutes, very strong in ball handling. That's why they're one of the top assist teams in the conference. There's the shot by Scott. Back to Martin, the quarterback. And the foul on Charles McKinney. Well, you look at the Bruins, as you see McKinney, who is the sophomore out of Portland. But the Bruins, they've got junior, sophomore, one senior that's playing regularly right now, and that's Keith Owens. Jim Herrick's team is young and incredibly talented. 8 minutes remaining here in the game. 6-point lead. McLean. McKinney the rebound, Oregon State.
Didn't miss that shot too often.
No, he was set. Had a good chance to look at it. Oregon State needs some points. In a bit of a hurry here. Jackson. UCLA stays in that zone. Alabegovic tries to set up on the left side. UCLA right now on a 12-6 run. McKinnon, second, Chad Scott. Our leading contenders for our sharpshooter of the game. And sponsored by Sharp Electronics. 68-72, 4-point lead. UCLA. Some of the other scoring. McLean with 16. Martin with 10. Matkins 9. Butler with 6. Brantley with 11. And Teo Alabegovic with 22 for Oregon State. Kevin Harris back into the game for Oregon State.
And I think a good sub by Jim Anderson. You know, just when it looked like the Bruins might run away and hide.
Got a foul on UCLA. Looks like it may be on McLean.
And the Beavers are, you know, they're scratching and clawing and coming back in.
That's 16 fouls. And only one foul on Don. They pop it out on top to Harris. They need his point production here. We may have an error on the scoreboard, by the way. There may be 2 fouls on McLean. We'll get it straightened up in a minute. Cavill into the game as well. Bob, number 4 for Oregon State, as he goes through. Down to Alabegovic. Cavill. High post. Scott. Matkins there to join him. Harris. Nice bullet pass into Chad Scott. That's what he does so well.
Great pass, but also a great athletic play by Chad Scott.
Scott has hit his last 4 straight in the second half. The lead is down to 2.
And he was only 3 for 3 in the first half.
And it goes in the foul on Alabegovic. Oregon State was on a 6-0 run up until that shot.
And this is a big-time play right here. You take the ball and go into a pack of people and score with a nice soft shot, as you see right here. Makes a nice fake, puts it on the floor, goes into the pack, gets the shot off, got a chance to get a 3-point play. The Bruins needed to score. The free throw can add insult to injury.
McLean now with 18, as you see, 3 fouls on the big guy for Oregon State. And UCLA back up by 5. Remember, Oregon State has won 16 straight games here at Gill Coliseum. If you stretch it back into last year, 8 straight this season. Alabegovic up against McLean, trying to draw the charge, but it doesn't work.
McLean saying something to Willis McJunction. But, you know, Don has nobody to blame but himself because he lets him have the ball. Alabegovic had the ball below the dotted line.
And Alabegovic with 24 points. Down to 5:40 remaining in the game. This one is going fast here in the second half. Atkins down to McLean. Let's see if he answers Alabegovic's point. Tries. Murray the rebound. He was clearly fouled. Oh, my goodness. I thought he was fouled.
I'll tell you, they're letting him play out there.
Cavill tries to go with the lob to Alabegovic. Gets it out of trouble. Matkins there. Foul on Matkins.
And Gerald Matkins, you can see the reaction. He's upset. And I'll tell you why he's upset, Don, is that he was in front as the ball was thrown. He was in front and happened to get a hand up. As you see the pass here over the top to Alabegovic, the Bruins going back, and he dumps the ball outside right there.
Oh.
Well, from that angle, it looks like he got his hand in there.
Yeah, but he had the position, and Scott went into him with his body from where you and I were watching. Well, it's 1-1 now for Oregon State. That's the 17th foul on UCLA. And the second foul on Matkins. So Chad Scott at the line with 17.
Well, you know, having spent 20 years in the coaching profession, I never used to get upset with officials, so I just, you know, what do they call? That's fine.
Mellow Harshman, they called you. Jim Herrick knows better. He's had to coach against you.
Look at Gerald Mankins. Look at Bob.
1 point, UCLA lead. 5:16 remaining. Crunch time is here. The crowd is on its feet. McLean. Double team. Still puts it in.
Great pump fake, great step through, and uses the glass. I really believe that all great shooters know how to use the glass.
Well, all great shooters for John Wooden at UCLA certainly knew how to use it. 21 points for McLean. And guess who's scoring now at crunch time? McLean is there. Alabegovic. 4 Bruins around him. Harris, the three-pointer. Scott, good position, but can't get the ball. Mitchell Butler for UCLA.
Nice job by Butler because the ball did come out long.
And as a matter of fact, they've lost 2 of their last 3, and everybody in Los Angeles certainly knows that. When they lost Arizona, at Arizona, then they were surprised by Stanford on a night when none of us really wanted to play basketball. The war had broken out that evening. And then they defeated Cal, and now they're up here to take on the Beavers.
And both teams with 2 timeouts left.
Stays on that end. Brantley got his mitt on it. Murray, by the way, 9 of 15 in his shooting in this game. McLean, 10 of 17, 21 points. And Chad Scott has shot well for Oregon State at 7 for 9. And Booker Turner having a chat with Ted Carlson, the PA announcer.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm watching. Oh, Booker's asserting himself. I'm watching. I'm trying to figure out. I'm watching Jim Herrick over there telling guys to get up there. Don McLean says, "Get your rear end up here."
Alabegovic foul. Booker Turner is not about to lose control of this game.
Booker's been through a few of these Pac-10 wars.
And that is foul number 4.
You know, it also puts the Bruins in the bonus, and that's you know, both of those are big.
McLean from the line, pretty much a lock. Right now, he is 26th in the NCAA in his per-game scoring. This is the second. Here comes Oregon State. The lead is 4. 4:14 remaining. Harris and back out to Will Brantley. They need to get their offense going pretty soon now. Alabegovic.
But a great pass from Will Brantley from the point, because what he did is he gave a good ball fake, got his defender up and bounced the ball in. And a lot of people don't use the bounce pass into the post, and it's a very good pass to use.
Want to welcome our fans in Denver watching on Prime Sports who watch the Denver-New York NBA game. Great to have you with us. 3:44 remaining. Just a 2-point lead for UCLA, ranked 10th and 11th in the country going into this week's play. Oregon State tied for first in the Pac-10 with Arizona. They need a win here at home very badly. 3.5 minutes remaining in the game.
And Tracy Murray had a great tip at that shot.
Will Brantley, a senior out of Seattle, the captain and leader of this team, runs it from on top of the key. Cavill, clock winding down. Oregon State got to get moving. Three-pointer, no good. UCLA with a rebound. Coming up on 3. Jim Anderson slaps his knee as if, God, golden opportunity goes by. Mitchell Butler, who didn't start the game, coming off the bench. McLean, foul. Oregon State on Will Brantley.
Well, it was a good job by Brantley to come over and help out because Alabegovic got beat. Here you see classic UCLA high post looking to the weak side block.
McLean with 22 points has really come in and taken over control of this game on the inside offensively for UCLA. Mitchell Butler will sit down as Keith Owens comes back into the game.
And Jimmy Anderson just told Harris, he says, tell Teo to cut your man out.
3-point lead. Jim Herrick could get his first win up here in a while.
Interesting to see that Mario Jackson's still on the bench, Charles McKinney's still on the bench. They may be back in the ballgame for the Beavers.
Kevin Harris looks at the three-pointer. The lead at 4. Coming up 2:42. Tough pass. Good hustle by UCLA. Traveling on Tracy Murray. Well, he broke the cardinal rule. He didn't turn and look.
That's right. The first rule when somebody throws you the ball is catch, turn, and look. That doesn't mean catch, turn, and dribble. That doesn't mean anything else but catch, turn, and look.
You're terrible!
And now you see
I think you were in lip sync with Jim Herrick on that.
And now you see Matkins is now playing in the post. You know, although he's giving up 3-4 inches to Alabegovic, he's checking him in the post.
Yeah, he can leap and he can move quickly and try to front him.
So we got a box and one now by the Bruins.
Yep, Matkins with him all the way inside.
And he's face checking him.
Yeah, he is. Harris, three-pointer, good. 1-point game, 2:12 remaining. UCLA still on top. McClain against Alabegovic, who has 4 fouls. Pops it out to Martin. What do we got? Blocking foul on Oregon State's Kevin Harris. Derek Martin.
You know, that was a foul of aggression. You know, he's trying to move his feet. He didn't quite get there. He's trying to draw a charge. It's not a bad play. Maybe a questionable play, you know, if you're on the Oregon State bench saying, why does he do those kinds of things? But, you know, there's a heat of battle right here. You know, you got a sophomore, 2 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the ball game.
Martin, a junior. The pride of St. Anthony High School out of Compton. Up here last year, he had 8 points, 5 assists against the Beavers. Down in Poly, he had 11 and 3 assists. Oh, what an offensive rebound by Keith Owens. Not called for traveling. When he went down,
And Kevin Harris helped him to the floor, shall I say.
yeah, just a little. Martin back over to Murray. A little more motion now on the offense. Look who. Max McClain. The turnaround, no. Chad Scott with a rebound. Minute 47. It's 46 remaining.
Got the shot they wanted that time, the Bruins did.
Game. Harris hit his last 3-pointer. He may be the guy they go to on the outside. Obviously, Alabegovic inside. Scott. Boy, Alabegovic is really attracting a crowd inside. Jim Anderson shouting instructions to his team. Shot clock down to 16.
When the Bruins put Owens in, it took him out of the box and one, and now they've got just a 2-3 zone.
Scott, Harris, Alabegovic better make a move. 5 seconds on the shot clock, and he ties the game, and he is fouled by Owens.
You know, and Keith Owens doesn't like that call. What happened is Keith Owens got caught behind him, and there's where he got called for the foul because he tried to squat the ball. When you get caught behind, is you take your step back, make the guy shoot the ball. Hopefully he misses, you cut him out and get the rebound.
Alabegovic now with 28 points. He had a career-high 29 against Oregon just a week ago. He's playing the game of his life. And keep in mind, Oregon State, as he goes to the foul line, is 10 of 11 from the foul line tonight.
Right. And you see the timeouts remaining. Oregon State only with 1. That could be a factor.
1:08 remaining. Alabegovic with a chance to give the Beavers the lead. UCLA only down by 1. Owens, Matkins, Murray took things into his own hands, but Owens there for the putback.
What happened? The Beavers went to double Murray, and it left Owens wide open to the offensive board.
UCLA by 1.
The shot clock is off now, though.
1 timeout remaining for Oregon State. And you're right, that's the time remaining. Harris, and the timeout called by Kevin Harris. So Oregon State leading temporarily after the 3-point play by Alabegovic, and with that he matches his career high of 29. UCLA now leading by 1, but Oregon State with the ball. What do you think, David? What do you do?
I was just going to ask you, you know, okay.
Don't ask me, you're the expert.
I've got a couple.
Time and temperature. You go ahead.
I've got a couple scenarios here. Number 1, UCLA has 2 timeouts left. Oregon State doesn't have any. You could come back out, and before the ball is put into play, you could call a timeout if you're UCLA and go back and talk about it, because you've got 3 ways you can go. You can go man-to-man. You can go 2-3 zone, which they've been running, or you could come back out and go the box and 1 with Matkins on Alabegovic, and that seemed to cause a little disruption inside. See, I still say the best way to play is make people beat you from the outside. I don't care whether it's a 3-pointer or not. The higher highest percentage shot is in the paint, and that's where Alabegovic has been doing most of his damage. So if I'm UCLA, I want to make the ball be shot over the top with a hand in their face.
Okay, if I'm Jim Anderson, I'm going to try to force that thing into Alabegovic, not at the risk of losing the ball. If it's not there, then I'm going to look for the three-pointer or the outside jump shot, because you got a chance at not only getting the high percentage, but the foul as well.
Well, I think you set up kind of a triangle situation where you've got a shooter in the corner, you've got a shooter in the wing, and you've got Alabegovic in the post, so that if they do, and you got to tell them, if they come back on you, you don't put the ball on the floor, you kick the ball back out to the shooter.
Any way you look at it, he's the man right now.
And
either
then,
take the shot or pop it out.
If the Bruins are either in the box or the zone, they have got to go get the ball off the board, and that's really tough, because when you're not in a man-to-man, you don't have people to cut out.
24 seconds. Here we go.
And they're man-to-man, and Mitchell Butler's back in the game, and I wondered if the Bruins would bring him back in.
Out pops Cavill. Butler against him, though. It's still Owen. Alabegovic, outlet, Cavill. 10 seconds. Alabegovic loses the ball. UCLA with it, and they call a timeout.
Derek Martin with as smart a basketball play as you're going to see, because as soon as he got possession of the ball, he knew he couldn't get up because it'd be traveling. He called timeout.
6 seconds remaining in the game.
Now the shoe's on the other foot, and now what has to happen is Oregon State has got to play full court pressure, because they've only got 6 seconds. And I say two things. As you see, okay, good job, kick the ball out, move the ball around the perimeter, good pass, and something just happens. I don't know whether he took his eye off the ball, but the ball's loose. Alabegovic just, can't come up with it. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. You see him moving the ball, good ball movement, nice pass in the post right there. He just can't find the handle. And there's Derek Martin doing a good job of going back in and then calling timeout. But Don, what I was going to say is, if I'm Oregon State, I'm going to play what I call inside out, get a hand in the passing lane, force UCLA to go to the baseline to catch the ball, try for the steal. If I don't get the steal, I've got a foul right now. You don't have time to worry about, well, do I foul this guy, do I foul that guy? You've got to foul them right away if they get the ball in bounds.
6 ticks on the clock are all that remain, and a 1-point lead for UCLA. With a victory here, that would put them at 4-2, likewise with Oregon State. Now let's take a look at tonight's sharpshooter of the game. And he has been outstanding, matching his career high at 29 points and field goal shooting 11 of 19. The senior out of Yugoslavia. And this typifies the kind of play of Alabegovic. Great assist tonight to get him those career high 29 points. Sharp electronics. From sharp minds comes sharp products.
As you can see, it's a man-to-man press. And the thing is, Don, UCLA has one timeout, so if they can't get the ball in, at least they have a timeout that they can use. Yeah. And now look what what the Bruins have done. 1-4 across the base, across the free throw line, and Tracy Murray taking the ball in.
Both teams in the bonus situation in terms of fouls, by the way, for what it's worth. Possible 1-and-1s here. Can't call any more timeouts. There we go. Inbounding to Martin, and he is fouled quickly by McKinney, as expected.
And that's
Martin,
exactly
a very good free throw shooter.
Wasn't it Yogi that said it's not over till it's over?
Gee, I think you're right, David.
I think that's the way it's going to be tonight, too.
Martin has played a very, very good game. And
the 10th foul on the Beavers, which makes it a two-shot foul. Big, big foul.
So much for voting that rule in this year.
Ooh. I'm ambivalent about that.
I know.
Or ambidextrous, one or the other.
Now the big one. They had a chance to move up by 3. Oregon State with a little light now. Quickly, they'll get it down court against the pressure. Jackson, 4 seconds. Alabegovic! It counts. Overtime for the first time since 1987. We go into OT. Alabegovic on the reception in the bucket.
Well, what happened?
get it down to him. Murray and McLean, rather, the scores, and Martin getting it down to them.
I would be inclined to put Mitchell Butler back in the ball game because I think he gives them more defense.
Garbage time and overtime. Finally, Oregon State. No lack of effort by either team, though.
Looked like a rugby scrum.
Chad Scott back out on top, and they'll settle things down. Those 84 points are the most that Oregon State has ever scored against the UCLA team. And we're tied at 84 with 4.5 minutes to go, overtime. Once again, one timeout per team in the overtime period. Brantley settling down a little bit. Shot clock down to 10. McKinney, three-pointer. 400 put their arm.
And you know, McKinney and Jackson were out of the ball game for a greater part of the second half there at the end. So they come in, and he comes in and he knocks it in the hole.
Alabegovic was 7 of 9 shooting in the second half. He's busy trying to defend Keith Owens right now. They try to double team. Owens with the ball. What do we got? Traveling.
Well, I would agree that he did travel, but I think it's pretty tough when somebody's doing chin-ups on your arm. They get a chance right here. Here's the pass inside. He goes up. And, well, I think it was a good call because he tried to turn and force the ball through the man. You can't do that. You've got to turn and pivot first and then go up to make a move.
Keith Owens is sent to the bench as Mitchell Butler comes back in. Jim Herrick didn't really want him shooting, evidently. McKinney takes the jumper. Hit his last one, not this time. Gets his own rebound. Oh, a big mistake. Back over to UCLA. Matkins comes up with it. He was fouled by Chad Scott.
Well, McKinney took the jump shot, then he went right around Derek Martin because, you know, guards don't think about cutting out. But you've got to at least get a hand or something on your man to keep him from getting between you and the basket.
They're giving it to Will Brantley rather than Scott. That's only 2 fouls on him, but that is 2 shots from the free throw line for Matkins as Anderson got his team back up by 3 now here in overtime.
And that's a big point because the Bruins are shooting 2 shots every time they go to the line, and the Beavers are shooting a 1-and-1.
UCLA with only 18 fouls. So it's a 1-and-1 for the Beavers, as David said. 3:21 remaining in the overtime. The junior out of Merced. One-point lead, Beavers.
And now the Bruins are back in a man-to-man.
Senior against junior. Brantley against Matkins. They look for the back door. Brantley, nice job. Derek Martin helping out for the Bruins. Oops. Brantley gets around him. Lays it out. Alabegovic. Possession arrow goes the other way. So despite the effort by Brantley, it'll still be UCLA ball.
The Bruins got beat on the backdoor cut, but what they did is they helped out so well. I think it was Martin, and when the ball was kicked back out, Alabegovic was forced to shoot the ball with a hand in his face, which hasn't happened very much tonight.
Jim Herrick standing up. Brad Hall and his assistant doing the same. Martin, Murray, Matkins, McLean. Murray left alone. That's just great ball movement and nice eyes on the part of McLean.
Got the ball from the right side to the left side and reversed it back around to McLean, and he went high to low, dumped it inside to Murray. It was wide open, and just a little exchange.
Murray now with 26 points.
And Murray had 24 for a long time now.
That was McLean most of the time. Just a muddy player. Crunch time, let's get the job done. And he's only a junior. Jackson, Mitchell Butler applying the pressure now. And Oregon State needs to get an offense going here. There's 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Great pressure by UCLA. And then he's able to sneak around the side. McKinney with a bucket. Great effort, and then the roof caves in.
But see what happens, Oregon State's people are taught to go backdoor. See, if there's any pressure, and what happens is Martin gets caught in a little backdoor pick. And so what you got to do if you're playing pressure defense is what we call keep your men above you. Martin let his man go behind him that time, and that caused the problem.
2 fouls on Don McLean. 9 team fouls on UCLA. One more, and it's an automatic 2 from the line. Beavers by 1. 2 minutes remaining in overtime. Now by, check that, 2 points. 90-88. Foul on Mario Jackson.
And that time down, the Bruins went to the same set, dribbled the wing out again, reversed the ball up on top, got it back to the left side, looked inside, exchanged high to low post, and tried to dump it back inside.
3rd foul on Jim Anderson's guard. Mario Jackson as Tracy Murray goes to the line. The sophomore out of Glendora. And 4th in the Pac-10 in free throw shooting. UCLA 13 of 21 from the line. 22.
And you saw the pained expression on Tracy Murray's face. It's bad enough to miss 1, but you missed 2 in the clutch. Boy, that's tough.
Could have been tied. Instead, Bruins down by 2. McKinney traveling. Let's see. What do we got?
And
yes,
he did.
traveling.
He did. He drug his pivot foot.
Jim Anderson's fuming about it.
Well, the thing is, there's no reason to dribble the ball in there. Why take the ball in there? Keep the floor spread. You've got a 2-point lead and the ball. And there he goes right there.
Yeah, well, let's make it clear. He's not yelling at referee.
No.
He's yelling at his team.
It's like the old commercial, why ask why?
8 turnovers on Oregon State. Knocked away by Jackson.
And Mario Jackson gives great ball side, weak side help coming over. That's his 3rd block. He's 6'3". Nice pass right there as McLean going up for the shot. There's Jackson.
3 blocks for the man, as David said.
McLean might have been wise to try to dump the ball off on the weak side.
Murray trying to post up against the shorter Jackson. McLean at the high post against Scott. McLean posting up, a little fade away. No, but a good rebound. Matkins, and he's fouled over the back by Jackson with 54 seconds remaining in UCLA. Still down by 2.
So the big rebound, but also I'll tell you what, Don McLean really got mugged on that play. He takes the ball to the baseline right now. You can't see it from that angle, but he really got mugged. But there, Matkins goes to the offensive board, and there's Jackson trying to just kind of swat at it from the backside.
That's 4 on Jackson. Mario out of Panama and North Idaho Junior College. Matkins on the line. 14 of 23. That's the team. UCLA's effort tonight. They're within 1. Tie game, 54 seconds. Brandley brings it down court. By the way, McKinney has all 6 of Oregon State's points in overtime. He's been the man. Alabegovic.
What's the term? This looks like deja vu all over again.
That's right. Shot clock at 25, game clock at 35. Laying it off to Scott. It's Brandley. Tries to get his own rebound. UCLA ball.
And Mitchell Butler did a great job, just like Jackson did for the Beavers. They ended up coming over from the weak side and knocking the ball out of there.
Who knows? Could have a second OT.
Okay, this is a real important play right here. In college basketball, when you're taking the ball at midcourt, you can throw the ball in backcourt. And that's what you need to do, but you have to have people coming to the basketball. And that's what you worry about as a coach. You don't want anybody to cut the gap on you, cut the angle down, and make the interception.
Oregon State still a job from the line, but UCLA, it's been a tough night. Anybody look tired to you, David?
Yeah, you do.
Oregon State?
No, you know, right now, all those guys on the floor are playing on adrenaline. They may be on their last legs, but they're not tired.
UCLA with it. That's time remaining in the overtime period. And we're tied at 90. Got to be McLean. He has the ball. Back to Martin. Let's see how they go off the screen. They look for the alley-oop. Not there. Martin with it. Back to McLean. Shot clock. Game clock. We got another time. Overtime. Jim Herrick is out on the court. Can't believe there was no call on the drive by Martin.
Well, I thought Martin did a good thing because you want to put the ball on the floor and try to draw a foul from the opposition right there. Nice job right here on the pick. At what level he's been successful.
He spent 9 years at Pepperdine. Only took him to the NCAA tournament 4 times and twice to the NIT. There's his third year.
Tony Fuller there on his right. Played for Jim at, or excuse me, on his left, our right. Played for Jim at Pepperdine. And Brad Holland there on Jim's right, our left. Great shooter for UCLA. He always, whenever he sees me, he says, gosh, I wish I could have shot with that three-point line.
He did wonders with Pooh Richardson, coaching him through his UCLA college career. Second OT. Oregon State controls. Here we go again. You folks on the East Coast, getting to be a late night for you.
And the Bruins come out and they're man-to-man.
UCLA ranked 10th in the UPI, 11th in AP. And there's the steal. Owens.
Good job by Owens. You see what he did that time? He forced Alabegovic to get the ball in mid-post that time.
McLean, running jumper.
And what Owens did when Alabegovic got the ball, he took a step back.
McLean now tying his teammate Tracy Murray, 26 points apiece. UCLA on top by 2. Jackson gets away from Murray for a moment, goes up with a leaping jumper on the lay-in, and it's a charge.
2 very good defensive play by Keith Owens. Now, Keith Owens is a non-scholarship player for the first couple years. As you see, here the Bruins now. Just going over and giving his body up right now, and you couldn't see out of the picture that time, but the Beavers had a back door.
5 fouls on Jackson, who finishes up the night with 13 points. And Carl Anderson coming in.
Carl Anderson giving him more size, but he hadn't been in the ball game all night.
Carl, number 22, the junior out of Chicago. Big, strong kid. Yeah, should have fresh legs. Got to keep up with Tracy Murray. Tough pass.
It's always the passer's responsibility, as Tracy Murray kind of looked at Gerald Maggs and says, I thought you were going to beat her. You can't think. You got to know.
14 turnovers on UCLA, 10 Oregon State. Brandley played a steady game tonight. Back to Chad Scott. They're cutting into that second overtime, 3:45 remaining. Scott trying to post up Carl Anderson. The foul on Murray, reaching over Anderson's back.
I think that's the 10th team foul, but see, Anderson just came in the ball game, so, you know, it might not be a bad foul.
Well, Carl's a veteran. He's a junior. He's played a fair amount for Oregon State. So Jim Herrick is now looking at 4 fouls on Tracy Murray. And yes, that is 10 team fouls on UCLA. So both teams, team foul situation, they go to the line for 2.
Yeah, and Murray with 4, and then for Oregon State, Alabegovic with 4.
There's the tough thing. A game in its second overtime for the first half and have to go to the foul line. Needs to get an offense going here. There's 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Great pressure by UCLA, and then he's able to sneak around the side. McKinney with a bucket. Great effort, and then the roof caves in.
But see what